Nerd alert! Learning is important, right?
Yes, exactly. What a bunch of nerds.
Nerd alert!
Right. Hello, and welcome to The Marketing Architects, a research-first podcast dedicated to answering your toughest marketing questions. I'm Elena Jasper. I run the marketing team here at Marketing Architects, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rob DeMars, the Chief Product Architect of Misfits and Machines.
I just had a big gulp of Diet Mountain Dew, so my brain is fully ready for you, Elena. I'm ready to learn.
I don't know, Rob on the dew. I'm not sure if the audience is ready for that.
It's Dew 30.
Oh my gosh. We're back with your weekly Nerd Alert. Every week, I'll take a deep dive into academic marketing research and translate its complex ideas into simple, understandable language for Rob and, of course, for all of you. Rob, are you ready to nerd out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's get into it. As always, we'll link the research we cover in the episode notes. This week, I read The Sound of Brands by Jennifer J. Argo with the University of Alberta, Malcolm C. Smith from the University of Manitoba, and Monica Popa, also with the University of Alberta. Is it Alberta?
Alberta. That's how I say it.
We should know this. We're Minnesotans. We're basically their neighbors. The University of Alberta, published in 2010. We're going to talk about the linguistic characteristics of brand names and how those names affect how we react to different brands. So, Rob, I didn't share our subject with you before this recording because we keep that a secret, but I did ask you to come prepared with some of your favorite brand names. We'll see if you follow directions. Not your favorite brands, your favorite names. So what have you got for me?
So I don't wear one, but for whatever reason, I like the word Rolex. So that was one. I'm a terrible golfer, but I like the name Titleist. And I kind of cheated because I do like this brand, but the word Jeep, I really like Jeep. That comes from general purpose vehicle, Jeep. That's how they, back in the day, Jeep.
I don't think that was exactly what I was hoping you would say, but...
Well, I like the sounds of those. What's wrong with them?
That's great. Yeah, be honest. Well, we're going to learn some other names that you might like too today.
Okay.
I just had a feeling that wasn't going to go the way I wanted to. But let's talk about the study. Hundreds and thousands of trademarks for new brand names are submitted each year. Some of those probably submitted by Rob. And companies spend millions of dollars naming and maintaining their brands. Choosing the right brand name can be stressful, and I personally haven't heard a lot of best practices on how to name a brand. Research in the past has shown that linguistic characteristics of brand names can cognitively affect product evaluations. What that means is we're influenced by the meanings of words, but we already knew that. These researchers were looking into something different. They proposed that the effect of a name arising from sound repetition in its phonetic structure, when spoken out loud, also positively influences our purchase decisions. So, Rob, you didn't say any of these brand names, but these are some examples that they give. Coca-Cola, Hubba Bubba, Tutti Frutti, Jelly Belly, Kit Kat, Bits and Bites, Lululemon, and Tostitos. This is called sound symbolism. It means that the sound of the word, separate from its connotation, conveys meaning. The researchers believed that just as a certain song might make us feel good, so could a brand name with repetition, and that influences our choice of brands. So to prove this, they set up 6 experiments. They wanted to prove 2 things. First, that consumers will evaluate a brand more favorably when the phonetic structure of its name contains sound repetition and is spoken aloud. And secondly, positive effect will mediate the interactive impact of phonetic sound repetition and method of expression on consumers' evaluations of brands. Rob, I still don't know what that sentence means. So
I'm still trying to figure everything out. So just
yeah. That sentence really had me questioning my life choices.
I'm still trying to get over Hubba Bubba.
I love the word Hubba Bubba. So that last one, their second hypothesis, what ChatGPT told me is they were saying that feeling good will help explain how hearing the same sounds and how something is said affects what people think about brands. So they're basically trying to prove we like brands more when there's some repetition and we say their name out loud. And if it makes us feel good, it's going to affect what we think about that brand. I think. But let's talk about the studies. This might help. So study 1, it's kind of an ice cream experiment. This study, by the way, is really funny and fun. Researchers asked college students to taste 2 types of ice cream with made-up names, some of which sounded similar, like they rhymed, and others that didn't. Half the students said the names out loud, and the other half read them silently. The students liked the ice cream with rhyming names better, but only if they said the names out loud, not if they just read them silently.
Interesting.
Right, and free ice cream. We love it. Now, in the second study, they added something a little bit less fun. They added cat litter to see if the effect was the same.
Cat litter to the ice cream?
Yeah, they mixed it in. No, they didn't. They had like a separate thing with the cat litter.
Okay, got it.
Because they wanted to see if the effect would be the same with a product that's less fun than ice cream. They also checked to see if people who are good at noticing repetitive sounds, like people that are just more apt to notice that in music, if they would be more influenced by the rhyming names. Again, products with rhyming names were preferred, and it didn't matter if the product was fun. So the ice cream and the cat litter, they both performed the same. Study 3. This one was all about holding back emotions. In this study, they had people either act naturally or try to suppress their emotions when hearing the brand names spoken out loud. People who were allowed to feel their emotions normally liked the rhyming brand names more. But if people tried to suppress their feelings, the rhyming names didn't make a difference. In the fourth study, they tried to make people feel happy. So before tasting or looking at the products, some participants were shown happy images to make them feel good, while others saw neutral images that didn't make them feel much of anything. If people were already feeling good from the happy images, they liked the products just as much, whether the names rhymed or not. And then finally, they got into kind of extras and desserts. Participants were told about new products with names that either had a lot of rhyme, a little rhyme, or no rhyme. Then they were offered additional product features or dessert choices related to the product. People preferred the extra features and more indulgent dessert options when the product names had a little bit of rhyme. Too much rhyme or no rhyme didn't have this effect. So in conclusion, this research provides the first evidence that positive effect or sound repetition out loud arising from certain types of brand names influences consumers. So if your brand name has a sound like this, you should focus your advertising on channels that can showcase it, like radio and TV. And now for the Rob GPT interpretation. This article talks about how the way brand names sound can make people like them more. For example, brands with repeating sounds in their names, like Coca-Cola or Kit Kat, can make people feel good when they hear them out loud. This good feeling makes people think better of the brand. It might even make them more likely to buy something, or like other products from the same brand. The study found that what matters is not just what the brand name means, but how it sounds too. If a brand name has a catchy sound, it can make a big difference in how people feel about it. This is something companies should think about when they're coming up with names for their products. All right, Rob, I thought you'd like that one.
That is fascinating. I'm still processing it. Now, you're our brand police at Marketing Architects. Are we going to rename to something that rhymes?
Honestly, I was thinking about it. I feel like Marketing Architects sounds kind of good.
It's got a little arc and arc.
Yeah. Mark Arch, too. We kind of say, like, I mean, it's not the best, but I don't think it's the worst with this either.
So what's a brand that you love that has a bit of rhyme to it?
Lululemon. That was the first one I thought about when I read like the abstract and they listed it, but I was immediately like, oh, Lululemon. I love that brand. Love the name. Love to say it. There was one of yours, Titleist, you like?
Yeah, Titleist. It's got
Titleist?
a little bit of a T thing going. Well, and I guess I'll go back to, I think it's interesting to me, just as someone who loves the Jeep Wrangler, huge dork when it comes to that vehicle, and that the term Jeep came from the origin of general purpose. It was like a sound, right? It was like the general, which is, you got to really read into that, but it's like that, those two words were said so much together that it ended up just kind of evolving into something that was playful, like Jeep, because they would call these general purpose vehicles in the military a GP. So they go, hey, get the GP. And that's how it evolved into Jeep.
Oh,
that makes more sense, actually. Now that I think about it.
Are you even a Jeep fan, Rob?
Exactly. All right. That was fun.
That's it for this episode of The Marketing Architects. We'd like to thank Ayana Klaphocky for producing the show and Taylor De Los Reyes for editing. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, and if you find the show valuable, please leave us a rating and review. And if you'd like to hear more from us, subscribe to our weekly email newsletter. It's built for marketers seeking research-first analysis of the latest trends. You can go to marketingarchitects.com/newsletter to subscribe. Now go forth and build great marketing. My coach gave me an acronym the other day. He said, if you're ever in a meeting and like you feel like it's not going well, it feels kind of out of your hands, remember the acronym WAIT. Why am I talking? It's like, oh,
that's funny.
I feel like that's good advice.